Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Thursday, November 10th, 2011. This is Texan TV News, a product of the Texan News Service. I'm Asia Branson.
And I'm Molly Schaeferman. In today's headlines, new arrest in Texas wrongful conviction case, Human Rights Watch investigates the Mexican government,
Penn State football coach is fired, Veterans Day celebrations,
author Kelsey Timmerman comes to Tarleton, Wilson Ramos kidnapped in Venezuela, and today's sports and the weather.
Now, today's top story. In Texas news, the Associated Press stated that there's a new arrest in an old case involving a man who spent 25 years in prison after being wrongfully convicted of murdering his wife. The attorney of the wrongfully convicted, Michael Morton, says a new suspect is under arrest in the case.
Morton, now 57, was convicted of beating his wife to death in a fit of rage following his 32nd birthday. Recently, prosecutors say the blood DNA on a bandana found at the crime scene is in fact another man's. It is concluded that Morton may have never been sentenced if former prosecutor Ken Anderson hadn't hid the key evidence from the defense in the first place. Michael Morton declined media interviews on his conviction being overturned until it is official later this month.
In international news, a Human Rights Watch has launched an investigation directed towards the Mexican government, accusing officials of being behind a series of kidnapping and multiple torture cases. According to the Associated Press, in 2010, Israel Melendez was grabbed by Mexican soldiers off the streets and instantly charged with the involvement in a massacre involving 15 teenagers in Juarez. Melendez told the judge that he was subjected to electronic shocks, asphyxiation, and threats to rape and murder his wife unless he confessed to the crime he did not commit. A judge ruled that Melendez's allegations were too detailed to be fabricated. Human Rights Watch says that it has been following the investigation during the last 2 years.
The group says it has found evidence that Mexican soldiers have ignited a war in the streets that has killed more than 35,000 people by the end of 2010. In a report, the group says that there are problems in every level of the government. So far, only 15 soldiers have been convicted out of the 3,671 investigations launched by the group.
In national news, as stated by the Associated Press, Penn State football coach Joe Paterno was fired last night, sending angry students and fans into the streets where they shouted support for the prolonged football idol. Paterno said Wednesday he would retire at the end of the season. Paterno, who preached success with honor for half a century, said he was absolutely devastated by the scandalous case, in which his one-time heir apparent, Jerry Sandusky, had been charged with molesting 8 boys over a 15-year spread.
Also relieved of duty was Penn State President Graham Spaner. Both were ousted by a board of trustees fed up with the damage being done to the university's reputation by the scandal. Paterno is not a target of the criminal investigation, but the state police commissioner called his failure to contact police a lapse in moral responsibility. The 84-year-old coach has been outraged that he did not do more to stop Sandusky after a graduate assistant came to Paterno in 2002 after allegedly having seen the former assistant coach molesting a 10-year-old boy in the Penn State showers. It is one of the great sorrows of my life, stated Paterno. The ouster of the man known to most as Joe Pa brings to an end one of the most storied coaching careers, not just in football, but in all sports. Paterno won 409 games, a record for major college football, brought home 2 national titles, and guided 5 teams to unbeaten, untied seasons. He reached 300 wins faster than any other coach. Penn State is 8-1 this year, with its only loss to powerhouse Alabama. They have a chance to play in the Big Ten championship game December 3rd, with the Rose Bowl bid on the line. Paterno has raised millions of dollars for Penn State in his career and elevated the stature of what was once a sleepy land-grant school. With only 1 home game left and 46 total seasons under his belt, it is no surprise why Paterno wished to play out this season.
Now for the regional news. Veterans Day is tomorrow, and there will be many opportunities to celebrate around Stephenville. Here are only a few of them. From 7 to 9 a.m., the VFW is holding a free breakfast that is open to everyone. At 10 a.m., the American Legion will host a Veterans Day ceremony at the Erath County Courthouse. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Slaughter, a Vietnam veteran, will be the day's guest speaker. Tarleton's ROTC will serve as the honor guard, and Town and Country Bank will provide refreshments for the event. Then, to wrap up the evening, the Cowboy Church of Erath County will be hosting a barbecue dinner. They will also have a guest speaker from Fort Hood, and admission is free for one veteran plus one guest.
In Tarleton news, Kelsey Timmerman, author of the book Where Am I Wearing, was on campus this week. Brittany Kennedy caught up with him yesterday.
Tarleton State is happy to have Speaker Kelsey Timmerman visit our campus during Global Week. Yesterday, he spoke to a classroom full of students from 11 to 12 about his book and his experiences. Kelsey is a freelance journalist who has traveled to more than 60 countries. He also wrote a book called Where Am I Wearing, in which he talks about his global tour to countries, factories, and people that make our clothes. Kelsey is a free spirit and encourages students to become engaged consumers. He challenged the students to know where at least one thing they are wearing that day is made from, whether it be a bracelet or their shirt, and to be aware of some information about who is making the product. For instance, how much money they make or their living conditions. Kelsey talked about how he would love to take his own kids traveling a lot while they're still young so that they can form a different opinion than most Americans about people in different countries. He said, "I don't want them to look at race or if someone's poor or rich. I want them to look at all people the same." He ended by telling each student that we have a responsibility. After we obtain our degree, we will be 95% more educated than the rest of the world, which means we should have some responsibility, he said. He used Spider-Man's quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." If you haven't read his book, I encourage you to get a copy or to check him out online. Tarleton State.
In sports news, Major League Baseball catcher for the Washington Nationals, Wilson Ramos, was kidnapped outside his home in Venezuela. According to the Venezuelan newspaper El Nacional, 4 gunmen walked up to Ramos and took him away. His family members informed the police, but there has been no word from the kidnappers. The president of the Venezuelan Winter League, Jose Grasso Vecchio, issued a statement condemning the kidnapping, and he said security forces will work with special brigades to locate Ramos. Vecchio also stated that he made Major League Baseball aware of the situation.
Now for the weather. Today is the perfect fall day. The sun is shining with a high of 63, but don't forget to grab a light jacket, for there will be a breeze all day that will bring the temperatures down.
Today's broadcast was produced by Lindsay Rader, Brittany Kennedy, Brittany Owens, and Angie Knapp. Our senior producers are Amber Ward, Sarah Richards, and Monica Pierce, with help from engineer Matthew Mills. You can follow us on ustream.tv/user/Texan News Service.
Don't forget to tell your friends about us and become a fan on Texas TV News on Facebook. I'm Molly Schaeferman.
And I'm Asia Branson. Tune in tomorrow for the latest news from Tarleton State University.